250th episode. Wow. Imagine. I mean, how long it took to get to 250th episode. And that's where we are, folks. 250th episode. And what do we get? We got a PWD Allies mug. That's right. There's a logo on the one side that has of the podcast, and the other side is a logo of the wheelchair, an accessibility wheelchair on a mug. Great mug, easy to grab onto, keeps your beverage hot on the 250th episode. Well, how better to celebrate that session with my next guest. Stay tuned. Hello, and thanks for tuning in to PWD Allies podcast. My name is Brent Frain. I'm the host, coming to you from Victoria, British Columbia, the capital region of BC. And joining me is Neil Matheson from Surrey, BC, my editor-producer for the PWD Allies podcast. Also joining me is Cheryl Hardcastle from way on the east, well, not right on the east coast of Canada, but in Ontario.
Close enough. Close enough.
Close enough. Close enough.
South. I'm the most southern you can get. Look at a map, then you'll see where I live, right across from Detroit.
Yeah, wow. Just skip a rock across the water, and there you go.
That's right. I'm right at the southern tip.
Wow.
And today is the 250th episode. So what a way to celebrate the episode, as I did in the intro, everybody. This is our PWD Allies mug, and it's got a logo here of a wheelchair, accessibility wheelchair on the mug. Now I had to get that wheelchair happening on the mug, and the PWD Allies mug. Yeah, and it's a hot beverage, keeps it nice and hot in here. So stay tuned on what's coming up about the mug. I talk about that a lot. But today we're going to talk about the celebration of the 250th episode with Cheryl Hardcastle.
It's all about us today, Brent.
It is, and you know the best way to celebrate.
And Cheryl Hardcastle.
Yeah, and the first guest that we had from the very beginning was Cheryl Hardcastle.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, I was.
Show number one.
I was the disability critic at the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, that's great. That you never run out of topics and issues to explore and re-explore.
Oh yeah.
Unpack and explore again. You never run out of those kind of issues. So it's great that this is ongoing. But you got some it's good to keep current. There's lots of news. The mainstream media might not think everything's headline worthy, but to us, it's all headline worthy.
Absolutely.
Now, you were talking about where I live just a minute ago, and I'm in southernmost Ontario, but you guys are both in BC, correct?
Right.
We're on the
so you
west.
have some exciting news, or I don't know, is it exciting, or is there some fine print to go with it about the disposal?
Oh yes, the disposal cap.
That is not what it seems.
It's
really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack on that. It's one of the splashy announcements of look what we did, but look what we didn't do. It's
they basically trotted Brent out and Sonia as mascots, disability mascots, and said we're going to remove the disposal cap, but then they said that, and then they actually didn't do it. They didn't remove the disposal cap.
Yeah, they didn't.
So not even at all. Actually, let's be real. No. They didn't remove the disposal. You can explain it, Brent. But they really did not remove any kind of cap, even though they said we're going to remove the cap. They didn't do it.
So here's a quick overview for our listeners, our viewers, and Cheryl. So you can get a better understanding here. Okay, so once upon a time, basically two PWD in BC. If you're living in the same household, if you're in a relationship, you're married, roommates, whatever the case may be, as long as you're in a same household, and then when a worker would assess it once upon a time, and they had deemed that yes, you need to be all on the same file, one file. So two PWD, one file. So two PWD normally would have two separate checks, right? I mean, two separate people.
Yeah.
So now the government says, well, you're in one household, so you need one income, right? But it'd be one income with a top up. So instead of two PWD checks, you got one PWD check with a little bit of a top up. So it's $2,600 approximately. I mean, that's being conservative, but it's a little bit less, but around there. So you're getting more with two PWD checks as individuals. So in BC, a base PWD check without any supplements added is $1,483.50. So if you add those two together, it's just over $2,900, right? So
and that is what I consider to be the end of a spousal cap.
yes,
Is if you're going to end the spousal cap, it would be the the full check times two, right? The full check times two.
Yeah.
But that's not what it was, Cheryl. That's not what it was.
Yeah. So the government said, well, we're going to make it two individuals, two PWD in one household, two separate checks, and they said, and we're raising the support portion. Well, what they're saying is that, well, you're going to get more on your support portion rather than just one file. So they basically averaged out to like 53.75 or something weird number of each person. But what they didn't do was the shelter portion in BC. It's $500. It used to be $375. In 2023, it went up to $500 as long as you could show that your market rent went up. Now, in subsidized housing, that doesn't. They didn't get an increase on that. So anyway. What they did was $500 and $500, and that's included in that $1,483.50, right? That $500. So they basically two people in one household. So they left it at $695 because that's how it was originally: is two PWD, one file. So instead of actually making it $500 and $500, they just left it that way. So that's where the spousal cap still stays in place, where it locks them in. So that the government says,
well, so it's the shelter rate. They left the shelter rate alone,
so they can control that.
And you have one shelter rate for two people still.
Yeah.
So it's basically you
305.
didn't get rid of the spousal cap at all. It's still in place.
Yeah. So you're shortchanged $305.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and there's this splashy announcement, and then
I know they're always splashy announcements, and we're always let down.
Yeah.
But it gives the government more, saying there's more work to do to fix it. Well, but they could have fixed it all at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the earnings exemptions, that was another part of the spousal cap too, is so the earnings exemptions in BC of two PWD are allowed to earn a fair amount basic per year if they're able
$15,000.
So, but what the government said is that they're increasing only one PWD in a household, and the other one keeping it the same. So again, it's playing one PWD against the other PWD. Yeah.
So they want to start marital discord, and like, it's my money.
Yeah. It's not healthy, really.
No.
I mean, it's
and then there was another media announcement just recently of saying that there was, cheats, varmints, and deadbeats, shall we say, basically milking the system in BC. There was a whistleblower who came forward, and one of the workers she's still working for the government, but she wanted to be anonymous, and they muffled her voice.
It's a case manager, a disability case manager for the province.
And they're not safe checking of, okay, are you going to be living at this address? Who is the manager? There was nothing to verify it. So they could say, well, here's the address. I mean, it could be, I don't know, it could be a 7-Eleven, just for instance. I mean, that's my address, and they don't verify it. So now the manager or owner could take advantage of that money, and now the person would legitimately say, they're going to be living there. Well, where's my money? Well, and now where did the owner go? Disappeared, right? And so they're taking advantage of even businesses, apparently. And so the government says, well, I guess we've got to do more work on that. They recovered $15 million, they claim, out of how much? But apparently it's billions of dollars that's been lost.
But you wonder, to me, the question for me is, like, how how high up does the fraud go? Because I hesitate to believe that
Yeah.
all the fraud is coming from PWD clients. I
No.
have a
Absolutely.
suspicion. I have a suspicion that most of the fraud is coming from like a high level spot that's over the heads of of all
Yeah,
the PWD clients.
Well,
yeah,
Yeah.
here's the frustrating part of it all
exactly.
is the government had increased the amount they put in. Oh, geez, so is it $2.5 billion or down $2.6 billion over 3 years because they said there was a major caseload increase in that ministry in order to sustain the growth, but they didn't increase the actual PWD rates for the existing recipients in the system. So when they did that, and then all of a sudden this news release comes out right after the Parliament rose for the fall session, right after literally the same night it came out
Hmm.
on the news hour because we were actually at the legislature that day. And we figured they were going to have another session the next day, but no, they actually rose that evening. And that news article came out in the news. I thought, wow, talk about timing of that.
Yeah.
You know,
Hmm.
yeah, and I kind of wonder, why didn't they raise the rates? Well, now I know the underlying reason is their caseloads are having to pay out all this extra money out
Yeah.
to who knows who. Like, and
Yeah.
it's a bad look on PWD and BC because it makes it look like people are trying to cheat the system, right? And then they're not. Like people are scraping
No,
by trying to, pay their rent and pay their food, buy
don't you
food. And,
find with any kind of program where there's a society's expectation that the government will help,
Mhm.
for
Hmm.
whether it's you know food security, food insecurity, or people
Mhm.
living with disabilities, or you're on we call it here in Ontario the WSIB. It's like it's the workers, the
Yeah.
injured workers compensation. No matter what it is, they always bring up all this fraud,
Mhm.
Yeah.
like it's a ridiculous amount of fraud, and I've never seen that.
Yeah.
That I haven't. There's abuse in any system
Mhm.
of like less than 1%. And when you have more than that, it's exactly what you said, Neil. There is um, something nefarious happening higher up.
Mhm.
And
Hmm.
sometimes you find out about it. It becomes a scandal in the news because government money went to this. But yeah, it's not abuse at the grassroots level
Hmm.
of the system. And the thing that always bothered me is when people say, like, let's take for instance the whether it's a living with a disability, like, oh, you someone's exaggerating their condition
Mhm.
because they want to stay home and relax all day and collect
Yeah.
this money.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I always, you know what I mean, that
Yeah.
narrative.
Yeah.
I'm paraphrasing it very
Yeah.
generically, but we hear
Yeah.
it a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
You don't want to work, you're lazy, however you want to say it, and you just want to stay home and collect this
Yeah.
money and live an easy life.
Uh,
Well, if you knew what people went through, no one asks for this. No
exactly.
one would
No.
ask for this.
Yeah.
And that's what always infuriated me. And it's the same in a lot of these systems. They talk about the abuse being at that grassroots level,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
it's absolutely not. I don't know if you guys remember under the federal government, uh, not this like the last, it was after I was elected, and then I didn't get elected again. The Liberals uh, got elected. Just for your listeners, because I was in the NDP caucus.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
So, do you remember the we scandal?
Oh yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Clearly, yes.
that's not, yeah. So there is abuse, but it's sophisticated and it's
Hmm.
happening higher up. When
Mhm.
Yeah.
there's abuse in any system that's of significant amounts,
Yeah.
um, And if someone is like, I don't know what could possibly, like, for an extra $42 a month, maybe, if you know how these regulations work in each province, maybe you're living in an apartment in a housing complex or something, not square cubic meter apartments. They all deviate a little bit, maybe, because I knew when I worked in a constituency office, that's what somebody was doing.
Oh, wow.
They moved, there was a house with like 8 apartments in it, and that person moved from apartment A to apartment B, and there was slightly less square footage, but they kept the money. It amounted to an extra $14 a month, and they had to pay it all back when they got caught.
Wow.
Yeah.
When you add up $14 a month, like, and that's the reality, and that's the gap in different people's realities, right? You know this. $14, an extra $14 a month, good. Maybe I can buy a small turkey to feed me for a week.
Right.
Maybe I can buy some fresh fruit and vegetables that I don't normally buy. Like, it makes a big difference to people. But add all that up, people, with your calculators, based on the rhetoric that we get from elected officials and other people in the private sector about, how much fraud and waste goes on. No, we're talking $14 a month, maybe times 3 people. That's the only one I ever saw, and I was shocked that they were asking for this money to be paid back lump sum. And the other irony is, okay, you caught that one, you found that one, but what about all this other more sophisticated fraud at these top levels? You never find that. These loopholes, people gaming the system at the CRA, but if you're at the lower levels, if you're just an average person or you're grassroots, you're the one that's actually, benefiting, getting to survive on this little stipend, you're made to seem like it's excessive.
Totally.
Well, and even as somebody that is on the system as a PWD client, like myself and Brent are, I mean, I myself, I would want to catch the ones that are really abusing it on purpose, because that is money that is being diverted to a criminal. It's money that could be helping, people that actually need the money, right?
Well, that news interview, Neil, like where they were talking thousands of dollars. I mean, it was just jaw dropping, the amount that is going out, like $5,000, $6,000 a month. Like, wow.
But there again, I mean, it seems like that is a question about the landlords, all the bad landlords out there that are taking advantage of
there
the
are
situation.
definitely bad actor landlords out there that will gauge the system. I mean, I can relate to past experience on that, but there was also another one in the headlines. Neil, maybe you could share that with Cheryl and our listeners about those 2 disabled people in BC.
Well, that was more about the disposal cap again.
Again.
Oh yeah,
and so that's another, just an example of 2 people that were both disabled, and again, really disappointed that disposal cap removal wasn't disposal cap removal, right?
So it goes back to this idea of, like, what is an asset? Because every province has that too. You have like an asset limit. What's considered an asset, and what is income, and what, all, like, just going back to what you said, there should be no you should be able to collect the full amount when you're on a
Yeah.
disability. And if you're a couple, times two.
Hmm.
Like none of this
Exactly.
dancing around and changing it. You should be able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
No, and it should
that's
be
not how,
based on the individual, not
yeah.
not household.
And you should be able to have, listen, you know, any of our financial advisors and banks, they want you to have a savings account for
Yeah.
emergencies.
Hmm.
Like, is it not reasonable to think that you should be able to provide that allowance to people on a monthly basis so they can put $10
Hmm.
Hmm.
aside in a bank account? I know people who can't even manage that.
Yeah.
And you're in the hole anyway at the end of the month, right?
Hmm.
Well, it's
So
yeah.
and then to say like, oh, if you have more than $50,000 in Ontario anyway, you have to
Yeah.
have your asset limit is 50,000. Well, if you're talking about a savings account, what if you have an old minivan
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's worth maybe 15,000? I don't know. I just feel
Yeah.
like it's all so out of touch.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Exactly.
that's one thing that always bugged me about the registered disability savings plan. I mean, it's a good idea on paper, and I actually do have it.
Yeah,
But in my case, like I was only able to contribute to it
Hmm.
only once, because that's all I could afford.
Hmm.
So I basically opened it. I put my initial contribution in, and then I didn't touch it. And
Hmm.
even with one contribution, that's been enough to I'm up to almost $20,000 now on one contribution, the original one.
yeah,
But it does bug me because it's basically set up for people, like you have to have money to
Yeah.
yeah,
to
Yeah.
make money. Like you only really take advantage of it if, like, I don't know, I could have had like maybe $250,000 in there if I started early and
yeah,
I kept, you know what I mean? But like
yeah,
I'm gonna have it punched out at maybe $20,000. That's gonna be my max. And I mean,
yeah,
$20,000 is better than kicking the pants. Don't get me wrong, but
yeah,
but like you need to have the money to contribute it, and I
yeah,
just didn't. So, I'm
Yeah.
stalled out. I'm
And then
stalled out.
the problem with that, the RDSP too, is the federal government had put a stipulation on the age too, on
Yeah.
how long you can contribute up to, like 49 years old. Um,
Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, so if someone says, "Oh, well, maybe they got an inheritance," just and they just turned 50. Oh, sorry, yeah, you can't put money into it. You can't even get that RDSP.
Hmm.
Like, what?
yeah.
It's like so cruel.
It is. Yeah, yeah. All the fine print, right? All these rules around it, they're very constricting rather than being of real benefit and helping people, removing barriers so that people can be independent and live in dignity. No, it just attaches more to it. It's very frustrating.
Well,
I think the
especially.
more I think the more we talk, like, I find this, I don't know if you guys notice this. I think you're of an age where you would make this observation that older people in generations older, they didn't talk about money, they didn't talk about wages, they
Hmm.
didn't talk about not being able to make ends meet,
Mhm.
Hmm.
and like people just didn't talk about pay stubs and that kind of thing. I don't
Mhm.
know if that was discouraged, so that capitalism could take full advantage of people. I'm not sure about any of that kind of stuff, but I
Yeah.
do know that people are more open to talking about these kinds of things now,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and affordability and what's fair, and that they can't make ends meet. People do talk about it more now.
Oh, it's
Hmm.
huge.
There was a time when that wasn't as open, and I hope that that's going to mean people can get some of these myths debunked about, who's just living a life of Riley,
Mhm.
collecting
Yeah.
collecting their disability benefits, and just living a soft life.
Mhm.
Well, let's talk about the crip tax, Brent. I mean, we always talk about the crip tax too. I mean, just in my case alone, uh, you know, I've paid for like when I was on crutches for
Yeah.
however many years, I was on crutches for 49 years of my life
Hmm.
before I broke my hip. And I bought every crutch. I bought every pair of crutches, every crutch tip. I bought all my scooters, my mobility scooters, and I've gone through like 5 of them.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
in the last wheelchair that I tried to get the ministry to pay for it, the provincial government to pay for it, and then
Hmm.
they said, well, we'll pay for half. So
Ah,
of course, I'm paying for the other half
one crutch.
because they knew I already had a mobility scooter, and I said, well, you didn't pay for that. I'm talking to the government, and they said, well, you didn't pay for that. I did. And they said, it doesn't matter. We know you have it.
Oh
So
my God.
we're only going to pay for half of your wheelchair now.
Maybe the wheels. Maybe the wheels.
And then you know, like last year, I got a I put in a new, accessible washer, accessible shower,
Hmm.
because of my broken hip. Like it's not an option. Like I have to have it.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
was not an option. It's not a question of like nice to have. It wasn't that. It's like I had to have it.
Right.
It was a must that I had to have it.
Hmm.
And so I tried to get funding from the provincial government on that, and they turned me down for that too. So
Oh.
here I am, like I had to pony up the $15,000 and borrow. Somehow I scraped together $15,000 to borrow. I don't know how I did it because I've already got so much debt, but it's only because I have my house. So I'm just borrowing all this debt on my house basically, and I've spent $15,000 on a bathroom rental,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the government didn't pay for a penny of that either.
Yeah,
You know?
but meanwhile, they've trying to recoup $15 million that
Yeah.
lost. I mean, I kind of really question that is that minimum 15 million. I mean, how much are they still trying to recoup? And here goes, into another, like another topic too, that's a hot commodity in BC, where the ministry, Cheryl says, well, times are tough. The minister said times are tough. I mean, if you need an extra $50, a crisis supplement, just no questions asked. Just go to the government office or phone them. Go to the government office in person if you can, and they'll just issue it out to you. You just have to request it. They'll give it to you, a crisis supplement. So I tested the waters. I just tested the waters just to see. So I went to the office and hi, and I recognized the worker. I mean, really nice staff working there. I mean, frontline workers, and I respect them highly because they're just there doing their jobs. But they have to follow the protocol, the policy that's
Yeah.
in place. So I said, and I didn't even show ID, no nothing. I just asked a question. I was just wondering if I could apply and get the $50 supplement, food supplement. Cost of food's up, and oh, I know, it's up. What happened? I said, well, my stuff in my fridge froze. I mean, and I had to throw a bunch of stuff out, and the cost keeps going up. So I was just wondering if I could, get that. So here's the thing: it was a pre-existing problem. It comes down to your management company needs to fix your fridge. I go, they did, and they said don't touch the dial, the thermostats, but it keeps freezing. So they said, unfortunately, because it's a pre-existing problem, you don't qualify for a crisis supplement.
Yeah.
Well, but the minister said that I can come in here and get the money. Really? No questions asked. Well, there is questions because you need to prove the reason why we need to issue it out to you. Rather than
Yeah.
issuing it onto the PWD check once a month automatically, where now you can just go and buy what you need. Even a clothing supplement, same thing. Are your shoes falling apart? Can I see them? You're like, really? How about a new jacket? Okay, has your other one
Yeah.
the zipper break? No, then it still
Yeah.
works well. Like, yeah, it's just making more bureaucratic red tape.
Yeah. I feel like that's where the resources go to that kind of thing
Mm-hmm.
in when they're, administering a government system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how, like, it's never adequate staffing. So
Mm-hmm.
they're not adequate in certain areas, but then other areas like this,
Mhm.
And yes, I get it too. I know you want accountability and transparency. I get it.
Yeah.
But it just seems like the approach is so it's so cumbersome, and it's not smart. It's not truly acknowledging or embracing the idea that it's actually cheaper to roll this out properly and have people living above the poverty line wherever they live. It's cheaper for society to do that.
It puts less
Healthcare costs come down, policing costs, all kinds of costs go down, just purely economically. I'm not even talking about the social benefits, right? And I don't know, but we still don't seem to get it. And the hilarious thing is, like, especially in Canada, you have, the way our constitution and our system is structured. You have 10 provinces and territories, right? You have all that operate independently of each other to implement these programs, and they all do it a little bit differently, and they all suck the same. Like, right? There's not one, oh, that's the best example. Everyone should be following this example. They're all.
Well,
anyway,
I don't know if you know this, Cheryl, but like, and this is going back early 90s. Well, actually, it's going back 70s and 80s too. But they changed the policy early 90s, and it was here in BC. So it wasn't all across Canada. It was we can only speak about here in BC, but here in BC there used to be disability pensions. So if you had a disability, you got a pension. And to me, it would be cheaper to administer that. Like rather than have
for sure.
rather than have a whole bunch of gatekeepers and staff members to say, sorry, you don't qualify.
Well, it was
like
administered out to the GIS though.
Just when you're medically assessed, if you get medically assessed by a doctor and you've proven that you have a profound enough disability, then you get the check. And it's a guaranteed thing, and there shouldn't be any gatekeepers because you've already gone through the gatekeeper of a medical doctor.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. That should be the only gatekeeper there is. The medical doctor has certified that I have a disability. A medical doctor has certified that you, Brent, have a disability, and that should be enough.
Well, yeah,
and there should be no more gatekeeping other than that.
Well, especially disabilities don't go away, though.
That's the interesting thing. That interesting issue that gets brought up once in a while. Always assuming that I'm going to sneeze.
Okay.
Excuse me. Sorry about that.
Live TV.
Yeah.
Always assuming that everything, no matter what the disability is, and every applicant, and whether they go to a doctor or not, that it's always episodic, and you got to come back in so many years and make sure you're still
to prove yourself.
There needs to be a better label, a better system for that. And then also along that line, we need to be addressing what is considered episodic. If you have a flare up when you have MS,
right,
and then you're feeling good for a month, that's not episodic. That's you still have your condition.
Exactly.
So anyway, that's a whole other thing. But there's so many resources, or so many places, I should say, that we could be redeploying the resources and the things that we have now. And if we acknowledged what is cheaper to administer, like you were saying, a system with like the disability, like the pension system, so much simpler to administer.
Oh yeah.
But no, there's no one's doing it. It's free money to all these lazy people, all these opportunists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because if you look
Gratitude.
at the CRA, what they're doing with the CDB is, you have to, they go through files and they say, see if their person's still eligible for their DTC to be reassessed or for them to review it. I want to see are you still disabled? They tried doing that in BC way back in 2000s. Or are you still disabled? We'll need to get you reassessed. Then go back to your same family doctor. Has anything changed? Nope, I'm still disabled. Okay, then why do I need to fill out these stupid forms? I don't know. The government said so. Well, maybe I need to operate on the government. I'm like, anyway, doc, I remember my doc saying that. He goes, I need to operate on the government. I'm like, yeah. He goes, so you got the forms, Cheryl? And he ripped them all up. And he goes, this is trash. I'm not filling that stuff out. Nothing changes. So and like, wow.
You're like, well, I need you to fill it out.
Yeah.
I depend on this system.
Exactly.
As many shortcomings as there are to it, they're like, that's people's lifeblood. Like, you gotta. Yeah. I remember you talking about that before, how your doctor was really arrogant, in my opinion, and not living, not being very, not just empathetic, but not informed and not living in the real world. And I know some people would say, I'm being flippant saying that, like, doctors see a lot of pain and they see a lot of suffering. I know, but if you are that easy to dismiss a person living with a disability who is just trying to follow a protocol so they can get the little bit of stipend that they're entitled to.
Exactly.
Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the part I disagreed with my doctor on too. And like, there was other supplements I should have qualified for. Nope. He says, no, I'm not filling it out. The worker said, well, unfortunately, like, it has to be filled out. Like, it has to be authorized by a physician. And I thought, wow, like, he was, a really good doctor. Like, for, following procedures of going over medical and stuff. But when it came to a good PR, like one-on-one, no. He didn't want to deal with it. I thought, and then he retired after. I thought, thank God, you know what I mean? But walking clinics after that, well, who are you? You know what I mean? And so they don't really get to know who they are unless you become a regular patient with them over. Then you get a good rapport with them. But, and that's just the stability when it comes to uncertainty when government decides to start changing their systems. I always say
the pink unicorns.
Yeah, exactly. Just give everybody like a GIS, like basically modeled after seniors, a guaranteed income or some kind of system where it's a flat amount. It doesn't go away because disabilities don't go away. You mentioned Cheryl puts less strain on our healthcare system. There's so many benefits.
Oh, there's people can be independent. There's less reliance on other community systems. There's less reliance. It used to be that something like a food bank or a charity was
temporary.
It was something that was very exemplary, right? It was very exceptional. I mean, now it's normal. It's reality. Every community has to have it. Where's your food bank?
One of my next door neighbor in the building that I live in right now goes to the food bank on a regular basis and has a full-time job and a part-time job. And now she's thinking about trying to pick up another part-time job, but because their full-time job, their hours just got cut down into half. And now they're worried, are they going to be able to pay the market rent? And the management company, I overheard one day, well, I mean, if you can't pay your rent, then unfortunately you'll have to go. And so she's freaking out, and it's based on household, the food bank. So it's based on that household income. So she's worried that if her income goes up too high, she won't qualify to go to the food bank. I mean, go figure. It's all really like, wow, the system that's supposed to help you.
Much. Yeah, I know.
Well, you know what? We're already at the end of our 40 minutes. So that went super fast. It always does. It always does.
It always goes fast with us, doesn't it?
Well,
you guys are good. These are thought-provoking issues, and I like the idea. I wish that every time we spoke, there was a to-do list and we could get something fixed.
Yeah.
But I've had to teach myself over time getting into the realm, because to be honest, until I was the disability critic, I didn't delve into the legislative frameworks around it at all. Okay. I was aware, but I had to do my homework. And so over the years, it's taught me too how we need more people to understand just like pop culture. Who sings this song? Who sings that song? You need to know some of the rules and be able to debunk some of the myths around disability and disability issues for people living with them, because there's so many rhetoric issues, like, this abuse of the system being one of them. And government does not move fast enough. No. And no, this isn't a rich and powerful group, so it's never an election issue, is it?
Exactly.
Never. Until we get allies, until we get people around us saying, we're tired of dancing around this, and we have hard evidence of the things that we can do. So, yeah, that's what that's the importance of this podcast. Yeah. So congrats again on 250 episodes, and let's keep talking, and we're empowering each other for the conversations that eventually will, it is going to tip the scales eventually, right?
Oh, hopefully. Yeah. And just a programming note, Brent, is that this is the 250th episode, but it's also our last live episode of the year. We're gonna be running 3 more pre-recorded episodes, but we're ending on the 250th episode as the final live episode of the year, and so we won't come back with a live until next year, 2026.
Wow.
So
okay, well, happy holidays, everyone, and happy New Year.
Yes, definitely.
You have a great Christmas, Cheryl.
Yes, Merry Christmas to you too.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, season's greetings. Bah humbug, or you know what I mean?
Feliz Navidad.
Yeah, exactly, and all the above, and season's greetings, and all the best in 2026, and we'll have you on in the new year, very early part.
I wanted to say that Cheryl was the high show getter this year too. You were on 4 podcast episodes this year.
Yeah.
So you were the high watermark.
Yeah. On the 12 days of podcast guests.
Yeah, we mentioned it on the 12.
Yes.
It's a pre-recorded coming. You'll see the 12 what was it? The 12 guests of no, hold on. 12 days of podcast guests. That's the name of the episode.
Yeah.
That will release in a couple of days. And we just kind of went through the top guests of 2025, and you made the list, Cheryl, because you're on 4 episodes this year. So
we had a fun time putting that together.
Yeah, it was good. Yeah,
Neil had to do some heavy editing down because went on a rant.
You talked for like what was it, almost 2 hours. I had to
cut it all the way down.
I had to cut it all the way down. Yeah,
went down that rabbit hole.
Yeah. Anyway,
thank you. And,
bye, guys.
Great pleasure having you on. We'll see you in the new year. And to all of our guests, thank you for tuning into our live episode, 250th episode. Thank you for subscribing, liking, and sharing. Please definitely share the content. If you want to be a guest on the show, reach out to Neil, and we'll get you scheduled in 2026. Like Neil mentioned in the programming section, is that this is the last live session of the 2025. There's going to be some pre-recorded sessions after this. So
3 of them.
So don't be surprised. I thought they were done for the year. we are done for the live episode of this year. So stay tuned for 2026 of when we launch. It will be in early January. So like I say, if you want to be a guest, definitely.
And if you want to support the channel, send a super like. We like those.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of options. You can do it that way. You've got our email addresses if you want to support us that way. If you want to be a sponsor, when you want to be the first sponsor for the channel, and actually sponsor the channel, because the fees to keep things going. I mean, we do this just for educational purposes to educate the other allies and governments and other people that would like to support people with disabilities in Canada and around the world. This is the kind of a lot of the go-to areas that people love to come to and share their stories. And we love to keep growing the channel more and more, and a lot of opportunities ahead for the channel here. Definitely reach out.
And we're going to hit 88 episodes this year. 88
podcasts.
Yeah.
And this baby hits 88 miles an hour. You're going to see some serious podcasts.
Yeah.
Way to go. Okay.
Thank you,
guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.